Hey guys, Joshua Peterson here, Peterson Electric. It is August of 2025. Our brand new code book's coming out again here, June of 2026. The next one after that will be 2029, and during another election. Haha. Anyways, yeah, my last video I did, you guys that follow me, I hope you liked it. It was about the 4 different Sprinter vans that I've slowly purchased. I hope that gets out to you pretty quick. Sometimes it takes a while for my SEO guy to download it, so they do pretty good at what they do, but I pump them out and then I slow down. So anyways, this video is going to be about, for my SEO guy, a 110-year-old home. This is old school Loveland, which is one of the President's Streets from way back in the day. That's how you know you're in an old home. A lot of people like the downtown area. Personally, I love it. I love the oak trees and whatnot, but I'm not sure I'd want to own a home that old. You got more than the electrical that has to be updated. Sometimes you got plumbing issues and got sewer issues. You've got, roof issues, just all kinds of stuff. But one thing good about those old homes, though, some of their foundations are pretty solid. But yeah, I want to show you a little bit about it. What I did was I upgraded a 100 amp service. But it was actually coming down with number 6 through the overhead with 100 amps on it, believe it or not, back in the day. Wow. The neutral was a number 4 aluminum, but it was 6 gauge aluminum. So it's rated at like 50 amps. My hot tub pulls more than that. So anyways, we updated it so we could get their garage. We did get a permit, passed all our inspections. So I'll walk you kind of through, okay? So it started out that they wanted air conditioning, and she's been here. This gal, I think she's in her 90s, but she's been here 65 years, a long time in Loveland, and she finally decided to get some AC. But even the AC guy said you're going to have to get an update. So anyways, here we go, guys. So this is the garage. This thing was a mess. It was a little tiny intermatic panel. It had just wires poking out, old sleeve, no bushing. So we put in a new Siemens panel. You don't have to have a main breaker, but I do like those. Copper bus bar, got the aluminum here for the neutral side. You don't have to arc fault a garage, but you do GFI it, so you could start in the panel. In our city jurisdiction, since I'm not rewiring the garage, I don't have to worry about that. If they sell it, they'll probably have to get GFI receptacles. But yeah, so this is a really good panel. It's a 1224 circuit slot. It's got the extra teeth on it. That means you can go up to 24 circuits if you jam it in. But yeah, when you bring it out here overhead or underground, you do have to have 4 wires. So we've got just a bare neutral right here, a solid ground with insulated, and then our number 6 aerial cable here, which aerial cable does not have to meet 310.16. Remember, it's 310.17 for you electricians. There is 30% more, if not 50 on some of the chart, conductivity overhead. I had an inspector a month ago in Loveland tell me that. Not the one guy, it's the other guy they hire here and there. So I had to kind of correct him gently and say, hey guys, 310.17 talks about aerial cable as a branch circuit. Keep that in mind. 310.15b is for overhead, but that is a service side conductor. This is a branch circuit technically to a same property detached garage. Anyway, so this was coming across. I had some funky knob right here. You can see the scar on the paint. And I had the wonderful TW wire rubbing on that gutter, going all the way over here to that box, which is now a floodlight. So what we did is we took it overhead, and we took the 1.5 inch IMC from over there, put it here, came in, put some strut, sealed it, put a boot up there, and got everything high enough. We're about 9 foot, and over here 11. So close enough, there's no traffic that can drive. For all of you electricians, it's Article 300. Talks about our overhead service. So anyways, this came across, and I really can't find a 1-inch weatherhead. So I did 1 1/4 inches. I reduced it to a reduced bushing to a rigid cap with compression fittings coming this way. And then we bent it down in a 1-inch. And then tried to avoid all of our stuff so we can get to those junction points later. Came in with the 1-inch. This was the old 1.5 inch rigid pipe with a tiny meter, and it came straight down into it. So I took it off, I did a Liquid Flex for metallic conduit. It's a steel one. And did a nipple, and then make sure I meet my 300 code on knockout. That we have a bushing here. Come around here. So we have to have our bushings here, here, and here. Okay. And then as you enter the panel, this is interesting. This old stuff right here is a number 4 aluminum THW. If you look in 310.16, it is a 75 degrees Celsius wire. Interesting enough. I still wouldn't put more than 90 amp on it. 80 amp maybe even, but my inspector said, yeah, 90's good. Well, wait, that doesn't meet 230.79. It does, because our new overhead is a 150. Our house does not have to be 100 inside. And if it's impossible to sometimes refeed that stuff, it's not like it's a 2-inch IMC. It's a GRC back in the day, an 1.5 inch, so its inside diameter is a lot smaller than you think. Anyways, I put on a surge protector. And then we've got a bypass lever in here for some of you people that watch me. You may not have to have the bypass lever, but I do. And for all you guys on the big boy store of Amazon, God bless you. Please stop only selling now without the bypass lever. Us people in Colorado, we all have to have bypass levers now. Anyway, so yeah, so we came in here, guys. We got our bushing on here. Come around here. We did meet our outlet. We already had one back here, but we met it again at 210.70 to have our outlet on the back porch. And then we fed through right here a 120 and a 240, feeding this way to feed our new air conditioning unit. All this work just for an AC. Comes to our disconnect, our 120 volt outlet, in-use cover, extra hard duty, 120 volt, wet rated, GFCI, and into our 2-ton AC. Then we have our number 6 bare copper to here. What's the smallest ground wire you can put on a ground rod? If you're looking in 250.53, I believe, supplementary grounding. Under rods, it's number 8, but then you got to protect it with a conduit. So we do bare number 6. And all this bare number 6 come out here to another ground rod. And from this ground rod goes all the way around, and we poked in by my van downstairs to cold water. We were able to drill through that. Thank God it wasn't as bad as I thought. Then there's an inter-system bonding bridge bar. Come up here. We're refeeding our power to our house. Outside, we did not have a main disconnect to meet Article 230.85 and 242 for surge protection outside. So now we've met all those code requirements to just look at the panel inside that was a Zinsco. Here's our new panel. We had 5 conduits down here, conduit here, here, and here, and here. So I'm not a great wood guy, but they can paint it. But we replaced it. It was a lot skinnier, and now it's wider. And we got everything labeled according to code. You do not need a main breaker in here. You can, but you don't have to. It's right there. Surge protection. It's smart to have it in 2 locations because I'm feeding a garage, in my opinion. But yeah, we used this old IMC, bent that piece of conduit because that wasn't even put in the conduit. So, you know, why did I not take the AC off of that panel? Because there was no space, and because you really shouldn't tap off a Zinsco, Gould, Murray, Challenger, ITE, Intermatic. I mean, ITE is now Siemens, but some of these brands never got bought up by their sister companies. So I do suggest if it's time to get a service upgrade, get it. As far as pricing goes, yeah, this was fairly heavy, no doubt about it. But yeah, this line right here was supposed to be upgraded from Loveland Power and swing to that piece of wood, that pole, and upgrade that line. So for you guys who live in Loveland, I'm not picking on them, they're getting better, but they literally, this was $1,350 my cost to get them to look at it, to tell me if I could go to a 150 or a 200 amp or a 125. Then it was another $650 just for them, for the power company to disconnect, reconnect, and they said they'd updo the line and they didn't. So I spent $1,350 between the 2 people, and it took me 5 weeks to get all that done, to get the permit back to me. So, and then the one thing that's funny about doing this work, it's really stressful. You get a 6-hour to 7-hour day if you're lucky to get all that done. So I came earlier 2 weeks ago. My sons did the grounding because we had to have a ground rod here and a ground rod there, and they had to be 8 foot apart. or 6 foot, but I do 8. And we didn't have, look, we're surrounded by cement. So they got all that grounding in for me. And then I pulled that hot with the meter there. I couldn't pull the tag. I'm not saying it's a wise thing to do. Rarely do I ever do that. But with the person in her 90s, I can't keep power off for 2 days. It could only be for an 8-hour period for them. So yeah, we had to change that panel out hot and then go ahead and bring this. And when they disconnect this overhead, we went ahead and redid this. Now this going up above is a 2-inch IMC. We put our strut strap. They got the new net meter. And then up above, come back, Grayson. There's a guy wire that we did to secure it to the roof too, to help with the anchoring point. And we did go a 5 foot high. So that way this was like almost 14 feet just to be safe, because it is spanning the whole backyard. And then Loveland Power cuts some branches down there for her so it didn't hit. But yeah, guys, so if you're looking for a service upgrade, I mean, gosh, before COVID by a few years, we used to just start at $3,200. And I know I don't like quoting prices online because, number one, competitors. Number two, we're at different parts of the country. This isn't Tennessee, where I had a license once a long time ago. Colorado's a lot more restrictive, but it is still a national code. And parts have gone up because of COVID, and now we've got the tariffs. I don't like to get in the political crap. But bottom line is that no matter what president comes in, things just always go up, and then our code changes. And so when 2020 hit and a main breaker outside with the surge protector, and then the city started going to bypass levers 10, 15 years ago, and then all the net meters, it's required, go ahead and show them, to do all this. Panel inside, outside, get some extra breaker spots so you can do solar or charge your car, do your AC, and then overdo your power to your garage. There's enough juice there at 60 amps that they can definitely charge a car at 50. So guys, if you're looking at doing that, man, you gotta have at least $10,000 sitting around at times to do something like this. Sometimes it can be cheaper, but this was actually about 4 full days for us to come here and do this. So there was a lot of time put involved to this, and me and my 2 sons, so 3 people. But material, guys, is still going up. I used to get some disc lights at $7, and then it went to $16, and now it's at $22 for the same disc light within 2 years. So that goes to show me, guys, that even the tariffs are hitting it. Inter-system bonding bridge bars, they used to be $7. Now they're up to $17. Oh, that's not a big deal. It is a big deal when you have probably involved in this job, guys, all the breakers, all the wire connections, everything. I probably have 300 parts inside of all of this, and everything has a specific cost. So guys, when it comes to budgeting it, yeah, there are some companies that are larger around here than me and my 2 sons that are, every time I bid against them, it's 12, 18 grand, 20 grand every time on an overhead service. Overhead services, thank God, they're back into Loveland, guys. I did a video like 3 years ago. I was pretty fired up about it. There had been a 7-year period where I couldn't do any overheads. They were requiring customers to pay for transformer upgrades and trenching underground only. And you know what? That did go away. Thank God, back in January. Woohoo, Loveland, Colorado. So now we're back into overhead services up to 200 amps. So I just want to say, if you're in Loveland, it's a good time to do it, guys, before they change their mind. And the power company changes their minds as much as they want. They don't even have to follow, they follow a blue book, but they make up their own standards as far as policy. So guys, if you're in the old town of Loveland and you're overhead power, you might want to consider right now getting that changed out. Because not only just, sure, I'd love to do one for you, but there were 7 years I didn't do a single one in Loveland. And I remember one time pulling a permit, and they said, why aren't you pulling any more permits on overhead services? I said, because of you guys, we can't afford to. Nobody wants to trench this. So now that they went back to overhead, if you already have an overhead, great. If you're doing a new build, guys, most likely they're gonna make you do on a spec house out in the county, you have to go underground. So anyways, guys, yeah, thanks for joining us. Hopefully that'll help you out, and appreciate it. If you hit that subscribe button, like button, share it, we appreciate it. Maybe one day I'll be a billionaire. Take care.